Chapter 4, Part 8, Section E. Mr. Perfect. I've had guys ask me, why would a woman stay with a guy she knows is a chump? How is it women will stay with their boyfriends or husbands regardless of how beta they are? There will be those guys who say they get with these men for their money, or stay with them for financial security. They'll say, come on, we all know women will generally only give their intimacy to men who have their game down tight and fit the profile. Doesn't matter how much they make. We know you don't need to make a lot of money to get laid or to develop a relationship with a woman. There are plenty of guys who have had shit for resources develop long-term relationships with hot women. So how do these mostly beta men get with these women in the first place if they're betas to begin with? Why would a woman stay with a guy she acknowledges as an overall beta? A lot of reasons, actually. But there are some commonalities. First, there's the guy that was once the jerk, who had been attractive enough or played the role well enough to get involved with a woman who successfully changed him. And in an effort to better identify with what she's convinced him and herself that he ought to be living up to, he reverts to being the beta he always was in the relationship. She can't complain because he's changed into what she thought she was supposed to want in a guy. But he's turned into the kind of guy she'd never have been attracted to if she were to meet him while single. So she stays with him up until the point that she meets another jerk who she wants to fuck and eventually fixes him too. Second, let's not forget that some of the most wealthy and physically attractive men also happen to be the worst cases of blue pill conditioning you'll ever meet. I realize that sounds odd. But the wealthy man and the attractive man have little to prompt them to rethink their own behaviors. Because they are more readily rewarded with female intimacy, there's less reason to question the framework of intergender relations and/or their own predispositions and conditionings that would make them beta. I once worked with this guy named Jake who was model tier good looking. He had no trouble with attracting women, and most would regularly approach him. But Jake was probably the worst blue pill tool I'd ever met. He used to complain that he couldn't get a girlfriend or keep a girl interested in him, even though he was tapping beautiful women every other weekend. Once he opened his mouth and spilled his life story out on the restaurant table on the first date, these girls would treat him with pity and gradually fade away on him. He literally had ONEitis for any girl he was dating at the time and swallowed hook, line, and sinker the soulmate mythology. He tried to be friends, tried to be sensitive, tried to be funny, tried to be a savior, and every other beta game technique in the book. But all this did was push these women away from him. They enjoyed being fucked by the guy. But when he started up the ice cream cones and puppy dogs, cuddle-bitch mentality, they moved on to other guys. In other words, beta men aren't all dorks and geeks. And being attractive doesn't insulate you from internalizing stupid, feminized romanticisms. Nice guys may finish last, but that doesn't mean they don't finish at all. and some manage to get laid occasionally along the way.